I'm Maria Shilaos, KSL's top story. Utah's legislature will have a special session tomorrow addressing the state's policies on both redistricting and collective bargaining. We have team coverage on this, starting with KSL News Radio's Adam Small, who spoke with the unions who are happy the legislature is voting to repeal a bill that outlaws collective bargaining for state public employees.
This bill would have made it so public school teachers, many police officers, firefighters, and other city, county, and state employees couldn't work with unions for better pay and working conditions. Britt Miller with the union Local 222 says he considers the legislature's plan to repeal this a victory.
The referendum gives us the repeal by voters, and if the state legislature would like to just cash it in on this tomorrow, that would be awesome. I think it accomplishes the same thing.
And he says a repeal would also have big financial upside.
You're looking at $8 to $12 million on either side. You're looking at community engagement. You're looking at a lot more organizing.
Miller and other union representatives say they expect this issue to come up again in the future, but they're hopeful they will be involved in good faith negotiations. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Representative Jordan Tusher sponsored the bill during the 2025 legislative session, and he told Inside Sources that the repeal follows a lot of misinformation and miscommunication surrounding the bill.
Really, in meeting with people across the state, we decided it would be better to take a reset, come back to the table, try to help everyone understand the issues that we're trying to solve, and make sure that we have the best approach moving forward. And that's what you'll see with the repeal.
Tusher says he hopes to give all workers a voice and that the repeal would remove the issue from ballots to allow the legislature to make adjustments. In the special session tomorrow, lawmakers are also expected to address the recent court ruling on Utah's congressional map, which has been heavily criticized by GOP lawmakers, including House Speaker Mike Schultz.
We are moving forward to solve a problem that was created by the district courts, a problem that is outside our constitutional framework.
In the session, lawmakers are expected to deal with court rules for elections, voting, and redistricting, as well as which court should be handling them. Special session begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Ahead of the special session, a new poll shows Utahns don't want a single judge picking their congressional districts. We continue our team coverage with KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Most respondents to the Sutherland Institute poll said they would like elected officials to draw their districts. But after learning about the ongoing redistricting battle, more people say they do not want lawmakers to act alone and would prefer them to work with an advisory board. Derek Monson with the Institute tells Deseret News this isn't a clear win for critics or advocates of Prop 4, but instead shows that people want those making maps to be held accountable and would like an independent commission, as originally proposed in Prop 4. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
We will continue to follow the special session both on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. KSL's top national stories. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments today on a case that tests the president's ability to fire the heads of independent agencies led by partisan panels, such as the Federal Trade Commission. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
The case has the administration asking the court to overturn a 90-year-old ruling that a president can't fire a member of the Federal Trade Commission without cause. That 1935 case was called Humphrey's Executor, and Chief Justice John Roberts says it's been weakened by more recent decisions.
Humphrey's Executor is just a dried husk of whatever people used to think it was.
The court's conservative majority seemed inclined to give Trump a win, but the liberals warned of the consequences. Justice Elena Kagan.
The president is going to have massive, unchecked, uncontrolled power.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Other national stories KSL is following this hour. At least 6 people are injured after a massive 7.6 earthquake off Japan's northeastern coast. ABC's Anthony Trotter reports from Tokyo.
A strong late-night earthquake shook northern Japan. Tsunami warnings sent people to higher ground in the winter cold. Waves just over 2 feet high have hit some ports. Warnings are still in effect along parts of the Pacific coast. Damage to buildings and some fires have been reported. TV showed images of damage and broken glass on the streets. Power and transport are disrupted in some areas. Officials urge people to stay on alert for aftershocks in the coming days and to stay away from the shore. Anthony Trotter, ABC News, Tokyo.
The Trump administration is overhauling the national park calendar, changing some days when Americans can get into the national parks free. More from ABC's Rachel Scott.
Among some of the other changes here, adding days around 4th of July weekend, Constitution Day in September, and charging foreign visitors an entry fee. The Department of Interior did not respond to a request for comment on why MLK Day and Juneteenth were removed. MLK Day, it is worth noting, was listed as a free day of entry during President Trump's first term. Some Democrats are criticizing the Trump administration over these changes, calling it foul.
Added to the schedule instead was President Trump's birthday, which is also Flag Day. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Well, the on-ramp to northbound I-15 at 1300 South is still closed to traffic. They're still cleaning up the earlier rolled semi from this morning, but now we have a secondary crash in the backup, and it's partially sticking out into the right lane of traffic northbound I-15 about 1300 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking? It's uncomfortable, and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film on your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Connecticut removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. State union members are excited to hear that lawmakers are expected to vote to repeal the ban on collective bargaining during tomorrow's special session. KSL News Time, 12:08. BYU's playoff dreams were crushed after an intense loss to Texas Tech this weekend, 7-29. It's the team's second time playing the Red Raiders this season and their second time losing. Head coach Kalani Sitake thanked the fans.
We're in our third year in the conference, really proud of where we've been and how we've built this team. We obviously have some more work to do, but I think playing the best team in the country twice will give us some good lessons to learn, and just really proud of the way they played.
BYU will not be participating in the college football playoffs, but instead the Cougars will head to the Pop-Tart Bowl. They will face Georgia Tech in Orlando. It's set for December 27th. We will talk to BYU insider Mitch Harper about this coming up at 12:45. Meanwhile, Utah State will be taking part in the 29th annual famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It's the Aggies' 18th bowl appearance. This time they'll play against Washington State. That will go down in Idaho on the 22nd. Utah Utes will be taking part in the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl against Nebraska, playing on New Year's Eve. Breaking news. Utah Mammoth player Logan Cooley will be out indefinitely because of an injury. He collided with the goalpost in an attempt to score against the Vancouver Canucks on Friday night and suffered a lower body injury. Cooley has scored 14 goals and 9 assists for the Mammoth in the last 29 games this season. Men are finding brotherhood and connection at the Orem Costco. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Jackson Smith is the founder of the Men's Mental Health Costco Club.
Mothers reach out to me and wives saying their sons and their husbands need friends and that they've been looking for something like this and that this is very much needed.
The club meets at the Orem Costco food court every Wednesday night at 7. It's only been going for a few weeks, but his social media videos about the club have tens of thousands of views and more men show up every week. Smith says it's a way to make friends just like they did at grade school lunch tables.
They asked to hang out after school and hang out at recess, and so it's really simple if you go back to the roots of it.
Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. What's going on, Ricky?
An accident, northbound I-15, 1300 south, the right lane blocked, and this is with road crews that are already in place with the earlier accident of a rolled semi just after 1300 south. That's still in the cleanup stages. So we are going to see some heavy and slow traffic northbound from 2100 south to about the 6 south exit downtown. The rest of your valley freeways and your main secondaries seeing a pretty quiet drive at this time. Odyssey Dance Theater's Christmas Spectacular, starring David Osmond. Fill your heart with the Christmas spirit this year. Visit odysseydance.com for tickets. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Happy Monday, folks. It is December 8th, and I've got partly cloudy skies dialed up for you, and temperatures mild at 50 degrees. That'll be 10 above the normal today. 36 overnight, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. Tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy, 52 for the high. We'll then go partly cloudy skies and a high of 56 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Well, mostly cloudy skies in downtown Salt Lake City and 50 degrees. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, Utah could soon have a Michelin star restaurant. We'll hear from Visit Salt Lake about what this could mean for the state's culinary scene. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda weight loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda weight loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Ulta Beauty's big holiday beauty sale is back with up to 50% off must-have gifts. Shop irresistible deals like the Shark Beauty Flex Style and Benefit Cosmetics travel-size mascaras. With new offers weekly, same-day pickup or delivery, and our trusted associates, we make holiday shopping effortless. Head into Ulta Beauty today. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
local public worker unions are celebrating the Utah legislature's plan to repeal a bill that bans collective bargaining for public employees. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a new poll finds a majority of Utahns don't want a judge or lawmakers to decide on a redistricting map alone. They would prefer the help of an advisory board. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
We do have a right lane blocked with a crash northbound I-15 about 1300 south, backing traffic to the I-80-201 junction. And construction slowdowns. You'd have a reduced speed limit in a construction zone anyway, but this is northbound SR36 at Lake Point hitting the I-80 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Normal highs 40 degrees for today. We'll be around 50 with more warm weather coming. I'm Matt Johnson.
And we have hit 50 degrees, mostly cloudy at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court heard arguments today on whether the president should have the ability to fire the heads of independent agencies.
The case has the administration asking the court to overturn a 90-year-old ruling that a president can't fire a member of the Federal Trade Commission without cause. That 1935 case was called Humphrey's Executor, and Chief Justice John Roberts says it's been weakened by more recent decisions.
Humphrey's Executor is just a dried husk of whatever people used to think it was.
The court's conservative majority seemed inclined to give Trump a win, but the liberals warned of the consequences. Justice Elena Kagan.
The president is going to have massive, unchecked, uncontrolled power.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Tsunami warnings have been downgraded to advisories following a powerful earthquake in northern Japan. ABC's Marcus Moore says officials are still assessing the extent of the damage.
Still in the initial phase of the response to this major earthquake, this powerful earthquake that, according to initial reports, was a 7.6 that hit around 11:15 local time. It was at night, so a lot of people were at home and it was dark.
Officials say more than 100 households had power knocked out in the region, but there were no abnormalities at nuclear power plants. A surge of flu cases causing alarm in London. The new strain of the virus that also impacted Japan and China, developed after the dominant flu shot was released for this season. Cases are also on the rise in the U.S. and New York City. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton, who is an ER physician in New York City, says medical facilities are ramping up.
What we're doing here is preparing for the worst, essentially. In the emergency room, we're stocking up on supplies, testing, protective equipment, making sure that we have surge plans in place, paying attention to bed capacity.
Health expert urging people, especially children and older Americans, that they should get their flu shot to help reduce the severity of the virus. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Salt Lake's culinary community could soon be getting some attention on a global stage. The Michelin Guide is expanding in the Southwest region, which includes Utah. I spoke with Visit Salt Lake President and CEO Caitlin Eskelson about it.
As of this morning, Michelin has announced that they're going to do their second regional guide in North America. This comes after they had done one in the American South. It was really successful, and now they're going to move over to us. And so this covers Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and then what we're calling the Wasatch Culinary Collective, which includes Visit Salt Lake, Visit Park City, and Sundance Resort.
So describe what this means for Salt Lake City. I mean, could we soon have a Michelin star restaurant?
We could soon have a Michelin star restaurant, yes. We haven't had one. We've had several James Beard nominees, but this is really going to put us on the map.
So what do they look for? I mean, what type of criteria do they look for?
Yeah, so they have a very universal criteria, and basically those are 5 things. So the quality of ingredients, the mastery of technique, the harmony and the balance of the flavors, personality of the chef through the cuisine, and then consistency.
So what does this look like? I mean, do these secret investigators come out and go to different, what does it look like?
Exactly. That is exactly how it looks. So essentially they launch, or they announce that they're coming. And then from there, I think from a press standpoint, it will kind of go radio silence for the next 6 or so months. And it is just that. It's an inspector. They're anonymous. They're trained. The restaurants are visited multiple times by different inspectors. And then we can't influence the selections. So it's very organic. So essentially us serving up the opportunity and the restaurants taking it from there.
And you can hear more of my interview with Visit Salt Lake President and CEO Caitlin Eskelson coming up on Midday. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Ricky Meese.
We do have delays due to a crash northbound I-15 at 1300 South, blocking a right lane of traffic. And then again, just after that is the rolled semi in the final cleanup stages from earlier this morning that just tied up traffic, made the morning commute a nightmare for anybody trying to get in towards the downtown area. If you're traveling northbound I-15, you will see the backups as you're approaching 2100 South. Now, we also have construction slowdowns, and this is northbound on SR 36 at the I-80 junction at Lake Point in Tooele County. Only one lane of traffic open to all vehicles at that spot. The rest of your valley freeways and main secondaries are in good shape. For the first time ever, Winder Farms' famous eggnog is on sale at Costco in the Salt Lake, Murray, and Bountiful locations with limited inventory. Hurry to Costco now. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. She is a mild one this week, folks. Look at the temperatures. 50 today, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we'll go mostly cloudy with a high of 52 as a storm system passes way up north and northeast Wyoming. Wednesday, 56, partly cloudy skies. 53, mostly sunny on Thursday. Friday's 54, hazy sunshine. 52, mostly sunny skies on Saturday. Sunday, more of the same, 52 and partly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 50 degrees, clouds in downtown Salt Lake City. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. Not getting off to the best start for the week. I'm seeing a lot of red. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, cause you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. Does, you know.
The countdown is on. Christmas is just days away, and if your holiday list is still looking a little long, start at Junction Commons Park City. Wrap up your holiday shopping and climb into mountaintop savings at over 60 national brands, outlets, restaurants, and local boutiques like Nike Factory, Columbia, Polo Ralph Lauren, and Sun & Ski Sports. Plus, hometown favorites like Fulfilled, JC Country, and local gifts. From cozy apparel to unique finds, you'll check off every name on your list in one scenic stop. And while you're here, take a breather. Stroll the festive walkways, enjoy the snowy mountain views, and grab a bite to eat. Maybe even unwind a little with self-care at Park City Nail Lounge, because you deserve a moment of merry too. At Junction Commons Park City, holiday shopping, mountain magic, and mountaintop savings that shine brighter than the snow. It all starts at Junction Commons Park City. Junction Commons, where the mountains are merry, the gifts are ready, and the countdown to Christmas is on.
Mr. Mac, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Mac's there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
KSL News Time, 1224. Gas prices continue to fall. Here's ABC's Sherry Preston.
The average price for a gallon of gas right now, according to Gas Tracker Gas Buddy, $2.90. That's down 17.5 cents from a month ago and nearly 7.5 cents than a year ago. As usual, gas is highest in California at $4.41 a gallon and Hawaii at $4.34 a gallon. Oklahomans have the lowest prices. Drivers there are paying just $2.30 a gallon.
Utah is close to the national average at $2.92 a gallon. Watching Utah's money, the government is set to release a farm aid package that will offer $12 billion in assistance to farmers impacted by tariffs and low crop prices. Any moment now, President Trump is expected to announce this package as he attends an event with soybean, cotton, potato, and cattle farmers. The U.S. Department of the Interior is making Christmas trees more affordable for people this year. Agency announced that the Bureau of Land Management is reducing fees on firewood and Christmas tree permits, along with opening new tree cutting areas. They are calling this initiative the $1 One Tree. The viral Starbucks Barista Cup that first dropped last month and caused a social media frenzy is back. Company teased on Instagram that customers will have a chance to purchase the glass cup shaped like a bear through the Starbucks app. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 279 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 47,673. S&P down by 36. The NASDAQ down by 91 points. A little over 2 weeks from now, people living in the Northern Hemisphere will experience the shortest day and therefore the longest night of the year. That can have a major influence on your mood.
The American Psychiatric Association estimates that nearly 40% of us experience seasonal affective disorder with its
difficulty sleeping, losing interest in the things that they normally enjoy doing, decreased energy.
Dr. Kaushal Nanavati, Assistant Dean of Wellness at Upstate University Hospital in New York, recommends vitamin D to people suffering seasonal depression.
Because it affects energy, mood, muscle aches and pains.
And exposure to very bright light in the morning can trick your body into thinking the sun is up long before it rises. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma!
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Let's check in again with Ricky Meese.
We still have crews working on this accident northbound to I-15 about 1300 south, and that right lane has been affected. It's backing traffic past the I-80 201 junction. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways are looking pretty good. We do have construction that's been causing some slower speeds northbound SR 36 as you go to join I-80 in Tooele County. Christmas time is merry and bright at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Come see Santa, shop, dine, and see magical Christmas lights at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high of 50 degrees. Overnight, 36, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of 52. We'll go for a mixture of sun and clouds on Wednesday, 56. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
In downtown, 50 degrees, Ogden at 48, Provo at 47, St. George not much warmer than us, sitting at 52 right now. But if you look at Park City, that's the cool spot with 38 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this half hour. Dozens of people are protesting against ICE today outside the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services field office in downtown Salt Lake City. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff joins me now live with details. Don?
Maria, immigration associates, advocates, and attorneys say they learned ICE agents are waiting to take people into custody as they arrive for appointments.
So we said, let's get a rally, let's get people out here so that we can spread awareness that this is happening and we can kind of help promote court support so that people can be out here on a regular basis and on an organized basis to really build towards campaigns to stop the detention center in Utah, support immigrants coming to their hearings, and tell ICE that we want them out of Utah.
Liz Marion with the Utah Salt Lake Community Bail Fund says they're also checking people in and out and taking people's contact information. So if something happens, they can get in touch with the immigrants' relatives and put them in touch with attorneys who are taking cases pro bono. I've reached out to ICE for reaction, but have not heard back. Reporting live, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Utah Senator John Curtis says we need to approach immigration with more compassion, but that doesn't mean that we should stop the crackdown across the U.S. He tells CNN's State of the Union it is possible to have empathy while enforcing the law.
Sadly, a lot of times when we're talking about immigration, it's just painful. It really is. I absolutely believe it's a false narrative that we can't have rule of law and compassion at the same time. But I think we're getting compassion. We're really struggling with compassion.
He says the lack of compassion comes from both sides. There are real concern with how ICE agents are acting and how protesters are interfering with their missions. A Payson man is now in jail accused of threatening to kill the governor and other state leaders.
Police are accusing Douglas Wilford Pace of making a phone call to Capitol Hill last week where he allegedly said he would shoot Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Senate President Stuart Adams. Arrest documents say Pace has a history of making calls like this to local and federal election officials. He was charged with threatening terrorism in 2018, which he entered a plea deal for, though investigators say Pace has a traumatic brain injury. Police are recommending prosecutors charge him with several felonies, but they're also asking they pursue a mental health screening to determine the best path forward. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration is now offering a $3,000 reward for help in finding a human skull that was reportedly stolen from a protected ancient burial site in southern Utah. Joel Boomgarden, the Trust's lead archaeologist, says a social media post alerted them to the fact that it was stolen.
A local concerned citizen noticed a Facebook post, actually, of an individual posing with some human remains. That got passed around to the agencies. We figured out whose property it was on. Turned out to be Trustland's property.
The skull was stolen from a protected ancient burial site in the Kanab area that's likely more than 2,000 years old. A Mill Creek man is behind bars after police say he stabbed his father for revenge. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Arrest documents say 19-year-old Darian James Hinman and his father have a strained relationship. A witness told police they'd been arguing all last night about chores and helping around the house, among other things. The fight became physical, and police say Hinman stabbed his father in the back and stomach multiple times. Hinman admitted the crime to police and failed to show remorse, posing when photos were being taken for evidence and even smiling when told his father may not live. He's being held for suspicion of attempted murder and aggravated assault resulting in serious injury. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
A vigil will be held tonight to honor the mayor of Green River, who was killed in a head-on crash this weekend. Utah Highway Patrol says Ren Hatt was on Highway 6, just 8 miles west of Green River, when a semi-truck drifted into oncoming traffic. UHP says they don't think the driver was impaired, but they are investigating. Hatt had just been reelected to his seat in November, following in the footsteps of his grandfather, who was the town's mayor for 18 years. The city's annual light and night event tonight at 6 will serve as a vigil for Hatt. KSL's top national stories. Today, Luigi Mangione, the man suspected of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last year, is back in court in New York for pretrial hearings over what evidence can be used in a trial. More from ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Mangione's attorneys are now challenging what police retrieved from his backpack. One of the next witnesses is the officer who searched the bag, pulling out the alleged murder weapon and writings that prosecutors say point to motive. Another witness is the officer who found this pocket knife, zip ties, and a future to-do list. For today's date a year ago, the paper listed digital cam, hot meals, and water bottles. For the next day, the note said intel check-in and survival kit.
The defense is arguing that police illegally seized the evidence from his backpack without a warrant. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting with European leaders in London to discuss the peace plan sponsored by U.S. officials and brokered in Florida. More from ABC's Britt Clennett in Ukraine.
From what we understand, the idea is to put pressure on Russia and figure out the best way forward, how to do that. Is it more economic sanctions? Does it include, those loans that have been frozen, giving that to support Ukraine's war efforts? Those are the kind of the questions that these leaders will be asking.
There is no indication that the Russians are on board with the plan, but Europe recommitted its allegiance to Ukraine. First look traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
We're getting reports of a power outage in the Salt Lake City, Holiday, and South Salt Lake areas. Just be aware that could affect traffic lights, so approach any dark intersection with caution. And some leftover delays northbound I-15, 2100 South, almost to the downtown exit due to an earlier crash at 1300 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story this half hour. A $3,000 reward is now being offered for help in finding a human skull that was reportedly stolen from a protected ancient burial site in southern Utah. KSL News Time, 1238. University of Utah plans to open the first prison education research center in the nation.
The overall goal is to provide post-secondary education for people impacted by incarceration. Aaron Castro, who is leading the team of researchers, says they are working with other colleges and universities to understand if and how they welcome formerly incarcerated students onto their campuses. Castro says prison education research helps strengthen families and can increase public safety. The creation of the center is thanks to an $8 million grant.
That is KSL News Radio's McKenna Rodriguez reporting. Enrollment across the state is declining, a first in recent years, and in several districts that could mean huge changes.
This is definitely a new change that we're experiencing, where in some places we're seeing huge drops in numbers.
Utah Board of Education member Aaron Bruff says that he expects to see an additional 10% drop of enrollment in the next 2 years, partly due to declining birth rates, higher home prices, and more charter schools. Schools in the district are now faced with potential school closures and boundary changes going forward. The Salt Lake City School District wants a better way to handle absenteeism. KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa has more.
The district's school board is reviewing proposals for a platform to foster open communication with parents when their student misses school. The district's ideal system would have language accommodation and allow two-way communication so the district can offer resources to families with chronic absenteeism.
It's unclear when the school board will make a decision on the new platform. Salt Lake City hasn't had a new park for 60 years until now. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Glendale Park, located at the site of the former Seven Peaks Water Park, had its grand opening on Saturday. Salt Lake City Public Lands senior landscape architect John Ruedes says the west side sometimes gets overlooked, and this park is now a big highlight for the area.
If you look at the last 60 years, this is a large investment that the city's making in Glendale Park, and the amenities and everything that will be a part of this park will really serve the community well.
Phase 1 is now open with pickleball courts, a basketball court, all abilities playground, and walking trails. It will be another couple of years before Phase 2 is done, but Ruedes has big plans for it, like adding a skate park. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Ricky Meese.
On northbound I-15 from this morning, we had a rolled semi. It's still being worked on to get that uprighted and cleared. And even though they've had several tow trucks there waiting to get it pulled away, it's taken quite a while. That's northbound I-15 after 1300 South. Then we had a crash just a little while ago, northbound I-15 at 1300 South. It had blocked a right lane of traffic. And now we have an accident northbound I-15 as you're approaching the I-80 interchange. So a lot of problems there. At least that one has been moved out of traffic to the shoulder. But it is part of all the slowing that we have from prior to 2100 South to downtown. A new accident southbound I-215's west belt at Legacy. They're working to get that moved out of traffic. And in Wasatch County, an accident. Highway 40 near Coyote Canyon Parkway in Heber. UDOT's saying no lanes are blocked, and it's not within the camera's view, but there's certainly some backup in the area, so plan on that if you need to travel. Highway 40 through Heber, and if you're traveling northbound. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A West Coast high-pressure system is going to keep us mild today. 50 degrees the forecast high with partly cloudy skies. Overnight, 36 is the low, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow afternoon, 52 mostly cloudy. Mixture of sunshine with passing clouds on Wednesday, high of 56. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, a very pleasant 50 degrees. And coming up on midday, a snub for BYU from the college football playoffs and in who they'll play in the Pop-Tart Bowl game. We'll talk to BYU insider Mitch Harper about that. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
immigration advocates are staging a protest against ICE agents outside the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services field office in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm KSL News Radio's Don Brinker-Hawk.
Second, vigil will be held tonight for the mayor of Green River, who was killed in a head-on crash with a semi-truck over the weekend. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Still some lingering slowdowns northbound I-15 starting just before 2100 south to 6 south downtown. The latest accident in that area is just before the I-80-201 junction. It's been moved out of traffic to the right shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure pushes temperatures 10 above the normal for the next 7 days. I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Trump administration is vowing to ramp up military strikes on what it calls narco-terrorists, carrying out nearly 24 water strikes already off Venezuela's coast, targeting alleged drug boats. President Trump has also signaled land strikes could come next. ABC's Karen Travers says talks between the U.S. and Venezuela continue.
Notably, we heard from Maduro last week, who said it was a respectful tone on the call. He described it as cordial, said that they talked about diplomacy. He says we welcome peace. The question, I think, today and this week for the president and his team is, did that phone call buy some time for Venezuela? We certainly continue to hear the president say that there could be imminent strikes by the United States.
Alina Habba, the former personal attorney for President Trump and embattled appointee to be the top federal prosecutor in New Jersey, is stepping down. It comes after an appeals court last week affirmed a lower court's ruling that Habba's appointment as acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey was illegal. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth, the big loss, a playoff snub, and news of a bowl game. A lot of developments for BYU's football team over the weekend. Joining me now live to break it all down is KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper. And Mitch, thanks for being with me.
Happy to be on.
Okay, so first of all, what are your thoughts on BYU not making the football playoffs?
No surprise, the College Football Playoff Committee has made it clear throughout the year, Maria, that they didn't think BYU was good enough to be in the College Football Playoff. And that loss back in November to Texas Tech in Lubbock, that was ultimately the game that I believe sunk BYU's chances, which is unfortunate because, you go 11-1 in the regular season, and it's a special season for BYU, yet that one performance really anchored down BYU's chances of being in the 12-team playoff. Had that been a close loss, I think BYU's in today, despite what happened, regardless of what happened on Saturday. But not being competitive twice against one of the best teams in the country made the playoff committee think BYU wasn't good enough to be in the bracket, and it's disappointing, that's for sure.
Yeah, still, when you think they only lost to one team, so that is kind of frustrating. So talk a little bit about the drama over who BYU is playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I mean, what's the latest on that?
So BYU knew that it was either going to be the Alamo Bowl or the Pop-Tarts Bowl after not obviously making the college football playoff, because those are the two bowl games that were highest on the pecking order for selections in the Big 12 bowl games that are available to Big 12 teams. And the Pop-Tarts Bowl was the landing spot because last year BYU was in the Alamo Bowl. And for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, it was expected that if Notre Dame didn't make the playoff, they would be in Orlando against BYU, which would have been great because those are the two highest-ranked teams in the college football playoff top 25 rankings that did not make the playoff. It would have been almost a de facto bonus, playoff caliber type matchup. But Notre Dame reportedly, was expected to go to that game, but opted out and decided to not go to the postseason at all because they did not get selected to the playoff. So Notre Dame out in Georgia Tech, who also top 25 team, number 22 in this week's college football playoff top 25, but still I don't think has the same national brand and cachet, if you will, like a Notre Dame and BYU matchup would have, but still a good opportunity for BYU.
Okay, so what is your prediction on the BYU-Georgia Tech matchup?
I think BYU matches up well. Georgia Tech runs the football really well with their running quarterback, Haynes King, but it really comes down to, how motivated is BYU going to be? After Saturday's game against Texas Tech, it almost felt like the season had a little bit of a conclusion there in Arlington, where it's going to take a lot to get this team to bounce back. Now, I know Kalani Sitake will use this as an opportunity to really motivate and bring forward progress to his program, but sometimes these bowl games, when it's a letdown and you're expecting the playoff and that doesn't happen, that could be a real letdown spot in a bowl game that isn't a playoff. So if BYU is motivated and plays like the team that we saw pretty much throughout this entire year, they can definitely win this game. But if they're not motivated, Georgia Tech could easily win this football game. They're more than enough capable.
Boy, tough for them not to feel deflated after that game.
No question. It's a tough spot, but I still think, though, that the BYU program as a whole going forward, now with Kalani Sitake locked in for a long-term extension, they're in a pretty good place as a program, and they can use this as motivation in the years to come to try to get back to the Big 12 championship and ultimately break through that ceiling and reach the college football playoff.
All right, thanks, Mitch. And that is KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
And Maria, we're going to bump this up to emergency traffic. This is due to a new accident in Utah County northbound I-15 prior to SR 92 Timpanogos Highway. They have held back traffic across all lanes until just now, and they're going to release traffic but still keep 3 right lanes blocked. They had a lot of vehicles involved with this, and 2 of them, they had to use the push bar method to get these vehicles moved from left lanes all the way over to the right shoulder. But emergency crews blocking those right lanes of traffic, and so far we have stop and go delays back to 2100 North Lehigh, with the backups continuing to grow. Now that they've opened up those 4 left and center lanes of traffic, hopefully we'll start to see traffic moving a little better soon. Northbound I-15, some heavy and slow traffic between the I-80 201 junction and the 6 South exit downtown, with the on-ramp to northbound I-15 at 1300 South still closed to traffic, with the rolled semi over to the shoulder on the main flow. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meese, the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast is nice for the lifestyle, but bad for the water supply. I got 50 degrees today, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, 52. Start to get haze in here on Wednesday, partly cloudy and 56. Mid-50s, mostly sunny skies on Thursday, 10 above the normal or more on Friday, 54. 52, mostly sunny skies on Saturday. Sunday, you guessed it, 52 and partly cloudy skies. That is a complete 7-day forecast of very mild temps. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And a very nice 52 degrees right now in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick peek of the markets. Ooh, the Dow down by about 0.5%. A complete update of your money news is coming up next. If you keep telling yourself the time is right to improve your health and take off a few pounds, I want to tell you about a huge holiday sale going on right now at Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Now, this is the program that has helped me lose more than 40 pounds, and you can take advantage of the holiday sale now. You don't have to start the program right now. You can start after the holidays, or you can start now, but you need to call now to lock in the huge discount. All you need to do is go to slcfatloss.com to do that. You know, this is an all-natural program. It is less expensive than other programs because you don't have to buy any sorts of bars or meals or anything like that. And since it's all natural, there are no side effects. It's just a simple combination of foods that burn off that stored fat very quickly. And that means you won't get frustrated. You'll stick with the plan because you see the results so quickly. They also have a great app. It allows you to ask questions at any time that you need to. It holds you accountable, gives you daily inspiration and wonderful recipes. I've lost more than 40 pounds, but many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Take advantage of the huge holiday savings now at slcfatloss.com. You can also call them at 801-450-1882. That's slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
KSL News Time 12:55. Watching Utah's money. Tech company HP Inc. announced they plan to cut anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 jobs by the fiscal year 2028. Company CEO says they will use AI to boost their company-wide productivity and streamline their development of new products. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 286 points, more than 0.5% to sit at 47,668. S&P down by 35. The NASDAQ down by 85 points.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. Christmas comes early at Arctic Spas, and you know you're going to want something different this year for Christmas, and that is a hot tub, swim spa, sauna, or cold tub in your backyard. Christmas is about spending time with loved ones, and there is nowhere better than spending time in hot water. No phones, no distractions, just relaxing face-to-face time. If you've never tried it, this will be life-changing. To make this Christmas even easier, we are offering 25% off on all in-stock models with guaranteed delivery for Christmas. So the best Christmas present ever, quality time with loved ones, relaxation, guaranteed delivery for Christmas, savings of 25%, and you get to enjoy it over and over year after year. Nothing is better. Pick out your perfect hot tub, swim spa, all-weather pool, sauna, or cold tub at ArcticSpasUtah.com or visit one of our 3 stores covering all of Utah in Salt Lake, American Fork, and St. George. Arctic Spa, the only spa built for Utah's harsh climate.
Join Lagoon's construction team and help build the fun. Lagoon is now hiring full-time, year-round CDL heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers, and plumbers, 18 years or older. Apply to lagoonpark.com/jobs.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Well, they've been able to get traffic moving again northbound on I-15 with our latest crash in Lehigh approaching SR 92 Temp Highway. And oddly, a lot of the delays that it caused are already starting to ease. So we're seeing improvements there, and all lanes of traffic are open. What's left of this crash still partially blocking a right lane prior to SR 92 Temp Highway. And then if you continue northbound I-15 into Salt Lake County, heavy and slow, approaching and passing 1300 South. Western Nut Company, unsurpassed quality nut gifts in festive boxes or baskets for any occasion. Beautifully packaged in all price ranges. Perfect gifts for businesses. Wrap up your shopping. Visit westernut.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL FM Midvale. KSL Salt Lake City.
The future of redistricting and collective bargaining for public labor unions both on the agenda for tomorrow night's special legislative session. The latter of the two sparking an intense signature gathering effort to get it on the ballot next year. The original bill sponsor now in favor of its repeal.
There was a lot of misinformation, confusion about the bill. I think a lot of that went into the signature gathering effort. Really, in meeting with people across the state, we decided it would be better to take a reset.
The time is 1 o'clock on Monday, December 8th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, Eye on the Hill, we have special in-depth coverage of tomorrow's special legislative session and what it could mean for next year's election. Also this hour,
a lot of lawmakers are already saying there's nothing they can do. What's done has already been done. But you do have a few who are saying we can still do something. There's plenty of time left.
The fight over health care subsidies continue this week, with the Senate set to discuss and potentially vote on extending Obamacare tax credits. But first, our top stories. Utah's governor is calling state lawmakers into special session. They're expected to address the state's redistricting battle and what role the judicial branch plays in that going forward.
Governor Spencer Cox is making good on the promise of Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz that a special session would happen after a judge rejected the legislature's congressional map and chose one brought forward by voter groups.
Instead of providing clarity, the district court has introduced uncertainty, confusion, and instability into something that we hold is foundational.
In this session, the governor's proclamation says lawmakers will consider amending court rules around appeals made by the state and those dealing with elections, voting, and redistricting. It also says lawmakers will seek to clarify that the Utah Supreme Court should be the only court body that handles election, voting, and redistricting cases in the state. The special session is set to begin at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. Gas prices are falling all over the country. ABC's Sherry Preston has more.
The average price for a gallon of gas right now, according to Gas Tracker Gas Buddy, $2.90. That's down 17.5 cents from a month ago and nearly 7.5 cents than a year ago. As usual, gas is highest in California at $4.41 a gallon and Hawaii at $4.34 a gallon. Oklahomans have the lowest prices. Drivers there are paying just $2.30 a gallon.
In Utah, gas prices have fallen below $3, about 2 cents lower than the national average. Other national stories KSL is following. At least 6 people are injured after a massive 7.6 earthquake off Japan's coast.
A strong late-night earthquake shook northern Japan. Tsunami warnings sent people to higher ground in the winter cold. Waves just over 2 feet high have hit some ports. Warnings are still in effect along parts of the Pacific coast. Damage to buildings and some fires have been reported. TV showed images of damage and broken glass on the streets. Power and transport are disrupted in some areas. Officials urge people to stay on alert for aftershocks in the coming days and to stay away from the shore. Anthony Trotter, ABC News, Tokyo.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 273 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 47,682. S&P down by 35, the Nasdaq down by 92 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
We have the cleanup of a crash in Lehigh northbound I-15 prior to Timpanogos Highway is still sticking out into the right lane, and now a secondary crash in the mix near 2100 North. They're working to get that moved over to the shoulder. And then we still have crews on the scene with this earlier rolled semi northbound I-15 from this morning after 1300 South. The on-ramp to northbound I-15 at 13th South is still blocked to traffic. For the first time ever, Winder Farms' famous eggnog is on sale at Costco in the Salt Lake, Murray, and Bountiful locations with limited inventory. Hurry to Costco now. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High temperatures in the 50s for the next 7 days, about the same tomorrow as it is today, but up to 56 degrees on Wednesday. 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Hey, Utah! Are you ready for the Utah Mammoth to hit the ice? From game-winning goals to behind-the-scenes moments, Mammoth Plus brings the action to you all season long. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the stands, don't miss a single shift. Visit UtahMammothPlus.com and start streaming today. That's UtahMammothPlus.com. Every game, every goal, live on Mammoth Plus.
This holiday season, step back in time to an era of true elegance. Titanic. The exhibition is now open at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Walk the grand staircase. See the artifacts. Feel the stories. It's the perfect outing for the family or a thoughtful gift for someone special. Now open through April 2026. Purchase tickets and ticket gift vouchers today at titanicexhibition.com. Titanic, the exhibition. Don't miss the boat.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The state legislature officially called into a special session tomorrow. Two major topics will be on the agenda: redistricting and the repeal of House Bill 267, the bill that prohibited public labor unions from collective bargaining. Eye on the Hill, we have special coverage on Midday. We begin with the fight over redistricting. State leaders maintain that Judge Diana Gibson's ruling last month, where she threw out the legislature's congressional maps and chose one submitted by the plaintiffs in the case, the League of Women Voters, was unconstitutional. Now, they say the ruling introduced uncertainty in the election processes. Also on the docket, a clarification that only the Utah Supreme Court has jurisdiction over election and redistricting cases. You will recall that Judge Gibson is a district court judge, which is beneath the state Supreme Court. Now, the legislature will also reaffirm that they have sole constitutional responsibility over redistricting. At a news conference last month announcing the special session, House Speaker Mike Schultz said that this whole thing was never the original intent of Proposition 4, which passed in 2018.
This was never the original intent. of Better Boundaries and Proposition 4. You now have people like Blake Moore, who was the co-chair of Better Boundaries at the time, come out and say that this was never the intent. Judge Gibson has taken this and blown this out of the water. The intent was never to take away the constitutional authority of the legislature. The intent that was the redistricting commission, independent redistricting commission, was to be advisory to the legislature. Never and nowhere does it say in the Constitution, nowhere does it say in Proposition 4, nowhere in any part of code or any part of statute does it give one judge the ability to pick a map for the people of Utah.
Senate President Stuart Adams echoing his concerns that an unelected judge was able to overrule the legislature's maps.
It's deeply concerning that an unelected judge overrode the Utah Constitution, specifically Article 9, and silenced Utahns by imposing a map without public input. The judge chose a map that didn't even follow Proposition 4. Proposition 4 required a public process. That did not happen. The people of Utah were denied a chance to review the map, provide feedback, or be heard. This is not about partisanship. It's about protecting the integrity of decisions that shape our representation.
During his monthly press conference, Governor Spencer Cox said that he had a big concern with deadlines for the midterm election in November 2026. Before his election to governor, you'll recall that Governor Cox was the lieutenant governor and oversaw the elections in the state.
Because of the deadlines, we just don't have a lot of room to move on this and to be able to file an appeal to move that process forward. So we're looking at those deadlines and what it means. Really, it's more just you kind of have to back up. So you have an election in November, right? We know that's set. There are deadlines you have to make to reach that. And so you just keep working backwards. And so what's the latest possible date that you could get a ruling from the Supreme Court and still be able to implement maps? If there's a change in maps, if the Supreme Court was to go back to Map C, then you would need 50 days to get that implemented, right? So there's a whole bunch of variables there, and that's what the attorneys are looking at now. That's why we don't have any additional information on what that might look like.
As part of tomorrow's special session, lawmakers will discuss changing filing deadlines to give potential candidates time as the state works on an appeal to the state Supreme Court. Throughout this whole process, Better Boundaries, who was involved in getting an independent redistricting commission established through Prop 4, has maintained that the legislature is in the wrong. Here's Executive Director Elizabeth Rasmussen speaking to Inside Sources shortly after the announcement of a special session.
I wish there was a little more accountability on the part of the legislature. This has been a fight that's going on for nearly 8 years now, and it's been fought every step of the way. And what has happened with this court-selected map is not unprecedented. Actually, the Utah Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court have all ruled on this question before, and this has happened in other states as well, where a court has to step in to put in a compliant map. It's happened in Alabama, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, and Texas. And so it's disappointing there's not more accountability and that we've had to go through this process for so long.
Also on the agenda for tomorrow's special session is the repeal of House Bill 267, which barred unions that represented public employees in the state from being able to do collective bargaining with public employers. The original bill's sponsor, Representative Jordan Tusher, now supports the repeal.
You know, as we debated the bill during the last session and tried to come up with the right policy that would give more public workers a voice throughout their negotiating process, and a couple other important points around providing professional liability insurance to teachers or ending the practice of using public monies to pay for union activities. Afterwards, there was a lot of misinformation, confusion about the bill. I think a lot of that went into the signature gathering effort. Really, in meeting with people across the state, we decided it would be better to take a reset, come back to the table, try to help everyone understand the issues that we're trying to solve, and make sure that we have the best approach moving forward. And that's what you'll see with the repeal.
Representative Tusher tells Inside Sources that he hopes to give all workers a voice and that the repeal would remove the issue from ballots to allow the legislature to make adjustments. HB 267 sparked outrage among public employees when it passed in the last legislative session. A referendum was heading for the 2026 ballot after organizers collected more than 300,000 signatures to put it before voters. Jessica Stauffer is the president of the local chapter of the Communication Workers of America and is part of Protect Utah Workers Coalition.
I honestly think that the legislators started listening to us. We had over 5,000 volunteers, and we gathered over 320,000 signatures, and that's a huge part of our population and workforce in the state. I think that the legislator has a lot on their plate right now, and one of the parts to this repeal is to try and build a working relationship moving forward and listening to the Utah voices and listening to voters. And so this is really the beginning of this, not the end. And so I'm really hopeful that we can maintain a working relationship and come up with something that works for most Utahns.
Stauffer tells Inside Sources that she's glad the legislature is making the decision themselves to repeal the law. Make sure you stick with KSL News Radio tomorrow and Wednesday as we continue tracking the developments in this special session. Eye on the Hill updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com and on our social media accounts. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
This hour, protests continue at the Salt Lake City Field Office for Citizenship and Immigration Service. The protests beginning this morning after locals heard reports that ICE agents were preparing to conduct raids at the office.
Up for the people! Down, down, down with ICE!
KSL TV photographer Tanner Siegworth captured some of the scene earlier today. Event organizers say the rally was quickly thrown together in order to show support for immigrants who had appointments in the office today.
We're actually launching a court support program on Saturday as our first volunteer training, but when we found out that ICE was planning on increasing their detainment starting at this building on Monday today, our court support program wasn't fully ready yet, so we said let's get a rally, let's get people out here so that we can spread awareness that this is happening and we can kind of help promote court support so that people can be out here on a regular basis and on an organized basis to really build towards campaigns to stop the detention center in Utah, support immigrants coming to their hearings, and tell ICE that we want them out of Utah.
Liz Marion is with the Salt Lake Community Bail Fund. She says the rally is part of a bigger initiative to support immigrants in the state.
We want to send a message that people in Utah support immigrants, that we do not support the ICE abductions in our communities, that we want ICE out of Utah. We don't want a new ICE detention center in Utah. We want to cancel the 287G agreements that are allowing for police to act as ICE officers and are increasing this racial profiling and deportations in Utah, and really just that we're here to support immigrants and say no to ICE.
Alec Marshall is an organizer with PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. He says it's important to stand with immigrants.
We're here to defend immigrant communities and to let people know that ICE has no place in Salt Lake and in Utah. And specifically, I'm here because last week my friend was in his final interview for his green card with his lawyer. He's been here legally. He's been going through the process of becoming a U.S. citizen legally. He's married. He has a kid. and he was separated from his family during his final green card interview, which is just, really, really horrific. But beyond that, we're here to let people know that immigrants aren't alone and that there's a community that stands with them.
We have reached out to ICE for comment on the supposed operations today, but have not received a response. The future of healthcare subsidies remain up in the air ahead of an expiration deadline later this month. We'll get an update on what the Senate is expected to do this week. That's coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
We do have a couple of crashes on northbound I-15 in Lehigh. One near 2100 North, the other one after it. Both are out of traffic. And then a little bit of slowing northbound I-15 in Salt Lake County near 1300 South, where we still have crews working to clear the earlier crash from this morning, the rolled semi on the right. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Take a moment to listen, really listen. You can hear the world around you, but can you hear clearly? If not, turn a new page in your life. Turn to My Hearing Centers. Research shows good hearing stimulates your brain, which reduces memory loss and helps maintain a higher quality of life. If you're dealing with hearing loss, you owe it to yourself to call My Hearing Centers and schedule a free consultation. 801-438-7058. 801-438-7058. With locations from Ogden to St. George, My Hearing Centers, changing lives through better hearing.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. So we are up against a deadline for lawmakers to extend the Affordable Care Tax credits, which are set to expire on December 31st. At stake, significantly higher insurance premiums for approximately 1.5 million people. The Affordable Care Tax credits were the focus of the country's longest government shutdown for 43 days, but despite the efforts of Democrats, there is still no sign the tax credits will be extended. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo tells me some sort of vote is expected this week.
That was the main reason why Democrats kept the government shut down for so long. Now we are up against the deadline of December 31st, and we have no set plan for what they are going to vote on. They are going to vote on something this week from the Democratic side. Republicans could offer an alternative proposal because whatever Democrats propose is likely to fail, but we still don't have details on that either.
So is anything likely to happen?
That is the question of the month, I think. I don't really know if they have anything that is really set, and they have so many different proposals circulating. It seems like almost every corner of Congress is trying to propose something, and there is no consensus on what they're going to vote on.
Remind us, didn't the president say that he was going to have a plan to put forth here?
Yeah, so the president did start to, come out with maybe a plan of a couple years extension. That quickly got shut down by Republicans on Capitol Hill, but it kind of opened the door for a couple Republican lawmakers in the middle to kind of build off of that and propose their own plan that they say mirrors what the president wants, but was shut down by leadership.
So in the meantime, we have a lot of folks wondering whether they're going to be able to afford their health care.
Absolutely. And that's something that's going to be, a huge messaging point as well if they don't get something done by this deadline. A lot of lawmakers are already saying there's nothing they can do. What's done has already been done. But you do have a few who are saying we can still do something. There's plenty of time left. But what is going to happen is absolutely uncertain.
Okay, but there's a vote set. That's a confusing thing.
Right. Part of that shutdown agreement for Democrats to reopen the government was they will get a vote this week. What they want is a clean 3-year extension, which basically just extends those subsidies without any changes. That'll be a no-go for Republicans. They want, more restrictions on maybe income caps or maybe minimum premiums. So whatever they put forth, it is going to fail, but it seems like Senate Democrats especially don't want to negotiate beyond that.
Okay, so what is the date and time for that vote?
So it's going to be Tuesday likely. We don't know the timing of it yet. That, of course, could be pushed back a little bit. And then, of course, Republicans will have an alternative. We don't know if that will be this week, though.
That is Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo. President Trump stepping up his campaign for affordability this week ahead of the Federal Reserve's Wednesday meeting to discuss interest rates. The president continues to push his message that the economy is healthy enough for future rate cuts.
This week, President Donald Trump will be putting affordability in the spotlight, even traveling to Pennsylvania to speak to voters directly there about the issue. The president pointing to data like this morning as signs the economy is doing well. Gas Buddy reporting the average price for a gallon of regular to be down 17 cents from the same time last month and almost a dime from the same time last year. He also says his tariff plan will put money in the pockets of the middle class.
I also think that, we're making so much money with tariffs that we'll also be able to make a nice dividend to middle-income people. We're talking about middle-income and lower-income people. We're not talking about dividends to rich people.
On the other side of this, numbers from the Commerce Department bring some concerns. In its most recent report in September, the agency showed core inflation to be up almost 3% from the same time last year. And a poll from late November with Yahoo and YouGov also found almost half of people who responded believe President Trump has done more to increase prices. The president recently called affordability a Democrat con job, which was echoed by his Treasury Secretary on Sunday.
We've made a lot of gains, but remember, we've got this embedded inflation from the Biden years. Democrats created scarcity, whether it was in energy or overregulation, that we are now seeing this affordability problem. And I think next year we're going to move on to prosperity.
Interest rates will also be in the spotlight later this week when the Federal Reserve announces its latest decision on where to set those rates this upcoming Wednesday. The financial services group CME Group estimates the chances of interest rates being lowered to be 87% this morning.
That is News Nation's Tom Dempsey there. A federal judge has ruled some evidence cannot be used in a possible re-indictment of former FBI Director James Comey.
So what's happening here is a federal judge is blocking prosecutors, at least for now, from using evidence taken from Daniel Richman. That's a law professor and former attorney for Comey in that dismissed case against the former FBI director. Now, the judge Saturday ruling the government likely violated Richman's Fourth Amendment rights by copying and searching his computer without a warrant. Now, the order actually comes as the Department of Justice justice is weighing whether to bring new charges against Comey, and just days after a grand jury declined to re-indict New York Attorney General Letitia James. That, of course, is a separate case. But at the center of all of this is Lindsay Halligan, and she is the interim U.S. attorney and sole prosecutor to sign off on those indictments against Comey and Letitia James. And she does remain the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia right now, despite both those cases being thrown out. And, of course, why they were thrown out was this matter of she was unlawfully appointed to her post, according to the judge who ultimately threw out both those indictments against Comey and Letitia James. Now, the judge's ruling here actually puts the DOJ on hold just for now, remains effective, though, through December 12th.
That is News Nation's Hannah Brandt reporting.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Health Matters on Midday. We're taking a closer look at how ultra-processed foods could be affecting our overall health and risks of cancer. School districts across the state seeing a decrease in enrollment. What does that mean for the state of education in Utah? And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Northbound I-15 delays again due to a right lane blocked at the crash after 13th South. Maria?
It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Boeing has finished acquiring Spirit Aerosystems. It says a company that makes fuselage and parts for Boeing.
The relationship between Spirit and Boeing came to public light due to quality issues and lax oversight involving production of airplanes like the Boeing 737 MAX. As part of Boeing's plan to streamline and improve problems with production of its aircraft, it decided to buy the company making the bulk of the fuselage of the MAX. Years ago, Boeing sold its main Wichita, Kansas plant to Spirit. Now under the $4.7 billion deal, 15,000 Spirit employees will become Boeing employees. Alex Stone, ABC News.
At the White House, President Trump announced a $12 billion aid package for U.S. farmers. It comes after farmers were directly impacted by Trump's tariffs, with China even temporarily blocking purchases of soybeans this year. $11 billion will be used as one-time payments to farmers through a new program. Tsunami warnings now have been downgraded following the powerful earthquake in northern Japan today. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Public worker unions are celebrating the Utah legislature's plan to repeal a bill that bans collective bargaining for public employees. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
This bill would have made it so public school teachers, many police officers, firefighters, and other local government employees couldn't work with unions for better pay and working conditions. The bill got intense pushback, including more than 300,000 signatures for a referendum to repeal it. Now unions are celebrating the legislature's plan to vote it down themselves.
We don't like it when a specific group is targeted. And this was a clear attack against teachers. And government overreach.
Scott Stevenson is the executive director of the Utah Fraternal Order of Police. He tells me this was the best possible outcome, but he says their work is not over yet.
We've got to continue to represent labor and police and fire to make sure that, they're represented and heard up on the Hill.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. If you are a man looking for connection and community, stop by the Orem Costco Food Court. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson explains.
It's home to the Men's Mental Health Costco Club, started by Jackson Smith, who recognized a need for men to gather and make friends. Smith says more men are showing up every week, and his videos about it are getting tens of thousands of views. He even gets messages from wives and mothers thanking him for creating a space that their sons and husbands need.
The club meets every Wednesday at 7. Smith says it's like gathering at the lunchroom table in elementary school. They get to talk about their interests, make plans to hang out, and meet new people. Utah Mammoth player Logan Cooley will be out indefinitely because of an injury. He collided with the goalpost in an attempt to score against the Vancouver Canucks on Friday night and suffered a lower body injury. Cooley has scored 14 goals and 9 assists for the Mammoth in the last 29 games this season. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 270 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 47,684. S&P is down by 35 points, and the NASDAQ, it's down by 77 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Traffic's starting to move again, but that's after crews held back traffic where we have this rolled semi from earlier this morning, northbound I-15 after 1300 South. The right lane is still blocked, and we're seeing delays back to 33rd South. Christmas time is merry and bright at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Come see Santa, shop, dine, and see magical Christmas lights at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures this week much warmer than they were last week. We are talking 50s for most of the week, up to 56 degrees by Wednesday. Right now, 54 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Well, the holidays are really here. Things are speeding up. I know exactly what we all need to do, and that's head into the Western Nut Company. I'm here with Sarah, and you can take care of it all.
We love the holidays, and we try to make it seamless for our customers to enjoy our gift baskets and our fudge and our brittle and all the things that make it the holidays.
Western Nut is perfect for corporate giving and also for your family and your friends and your neighbors.
For corporate gifting, we have a team that's ready to take your list and ship it right from our store.
You know what I love is Dee and I go into Western Nut and the mothership, which is right there on 4th and 3rd West, and we just let you guys take care of it all. We select the gift and you guys ship them off, especially to Dee's family in Missouri.
Western Nut's been doing this since 1966, and we've got it down. All the things that you need to cover everybody on your list.
A good place to start is by going online at westernnut.com. That's westernut.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. While most of us know that ultra-processed foods aren't good for us, the latest studies show they are linked to more than a 41% higher risk of colon and lung cancer. Yet, these ultra-processed foods make up 70% of the food supply in this country. Dr. Richard Ferguson joins us for Health Matters on Midday to better define which foods are the culprits.
Ultra-processed foods are industrial products made mostly from refined starches, added sugars, cheap fats, and additives. So that'd be emulsifiers, colorings, artificial sweeteners, with little or no intact whole food left. That's the key, little or no intact whole food left. So the way I often tell people, if you want to be able to identify something that is a simple rule, I would say if it comes to wanting to identify something that is ultra processed, if it has a cartoon on the front and a chemistry set of ingredients on the back of the box, it's probably ultra processed. So I often tell people, flip the package over. If it has a long list of ingredients you wouldn't cook with at home, such as high fructose corn syrup, no one's going out of their way to usually buy that, maltodextrin, artificial colors, and anything identified as a flavor enhancer, it's ultra processed. So choose the version, I would pretty much say, with the shortest amount of ingredients and the most familiar ingredients to you. If you flip it over and there's 12 things and you identify 3 out of the 12, maybe push for another item if you're in the same aisle that has less of that, or go to or avoid that product altogether.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I turn over and look at the labels, and there are so many chemicals on there. I have no idea what they are or what they do.
Often flavor enhanced, coloring. It's to make the product more appealing, longer shelf life with it. And I think the other thing we have to think about is it is fast, it's cheap, but it's often the worst thing for our bodies. It increases inflammation with our bodies when we have it, and inflammation increases cellular turnover. When our cells turn over more and more, is a chance of our DNA during that replication process to make an error, and thus increasing our risk for cancer.
Yeah, how much do these ultra processed foods increase our chance for cancer?
Well, let's first take a step back about the study that kind of triggered some of this. So that Harvard and Mass General, they followed 30,000 young women for over 20 years. All right, so that's a pretty powerful study, and looked at their intake of ultra processed food and colon polyps, which are often are precancerous growths before someone develops colon cancer. So they found that women eating ultra processed foods, around 9 to 10 servings a day. So imagine going into your little pantry, grabbing some chips or some ultra processed cheese sticks, had a 45% higher risk of advanced precancerous polyps than those eating just 3 servings a day. So these polyps in this study are early warning signs for colorectal cancer. So seeing more of them strongly suggests these foods are helping drive cancer risk, not just showing up by coincidence. So I would say it can increase one's chance of precancerous lesions, breast, colon, developing in one's body, if you are going beyond moderate intake. So if you had, say, you're at a football game this past Sunday, and let's say you just had, look at the back of the bag, right? How many servings? If you had just 1 or 2 servings, that's probably okay. If you had around 7 to 8 servings, which probably end up being that bag of chips, if you did that entire day, you've pushed yourself into the high risk category and you're beyond moderate, and you're causing more inflammation to cause precancerous lesions to develop in more than just your colon.
Yeah, and we know how easy it is just to eat a small bag of chips all by yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's addictive. You start eating them and then you don't even realize how many you've eaten. So it's important to identify some of these foods. You mentioned chips and cheese sticks, but what are some of the things that are more commonly ultra processed that people should look at?
Candy, pastries. I would say a lot of our yogurts are highly processed, especially if a lot of them now will say low fat, but actually that means they have more processed products within them for additive flavor. So I often say if you can get something that's, say, your natural yogurt to provide for yourself, your kids in the morning, that is actually better. Getting something that is unsweetened, because often it's not natural sugar that's in there, it is an artificial sugar that's being placed there. And if you can also, something as simple as soda, which is also an ultra processed beverage, right? Soda is not natural. Replace that in the energy drinks that people are also taking that have a number of additives that are not even sometimes, I would say, FDA approved, but they're additives within our beverages that we drink, and switch that out for water or sparkling water. That's often what I would say.
I don't think of yogurt as being bad for me. So those are those important things to look at.
Like a Go-Gurt. I don't know if you remember those advertisements in the past, but that's not good for your kids or you. It's highly ultra processed. So I often tell people aim for, also we have to think about portion size, right? Half your plate, vegetables or fruit, quarter lean protein, and try if you can. Frozen or canned veggies and beans are not ultra processed and often cheaper. But when can you think of the last time, Maria, you had something out of a can?
I can't think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we tend to avoid the frozen aisle. If you can't afford the fresh vegetables, frozen is better as opposed to getting something that's ultra processed where you add water and heat.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
We don't have to eat perfectly, but the science is telling us this. When most of what's on our plate is real food, beans, greens, fruits, grains, lean proteins, we lower our risk of colon cancer and a lot of other diseases. If we can move from a diet dominated by ultra-processed foods to one where they're the occasional side guest, our bodies will thank us. I think that's the biggest thing I would have people kind of take away. And this is known in Europe and other developed countries where they really limit and they see the harms of ultra-processed foods. So they don't allow them on their shelves, but they do creep into their supermarkets as well.
And Dr. Richard Ferguson is an emergency room doctor and the founder of the Black Physicians of Utah. He says, while diet isn't the only factor contributing to the rise in cancer, it should be taken seriously. In other health news, a new treatment is offering hope to people with rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, lupus, and other challenging autoimmune diseases. Dr. Maximilian Koenig at Johns Hopkins University is studying a method that reprograms patients' out-of-whack immune systems. Now, he tells the Associated Press it's a new era for science, one in which researchers are altering dysfunctional immune systems and not just suppressing them.
This is probably the most exciting time that we've ever had to be in autoimmunity. The autoreactive B cells are the ones that are really leading the charge in terms of creating this inflammatory response against yourself, and so that's why we try to target them. T cells work towards defeating invaders. The way that the CAR T treatment works is a patient comes in, they get their blood taken out, and then the T cells are isolated, and then they're genetically modified to express a different receptor. That's the CAR, C-A-R, chimeric antigen receptor. This modification kind of reorients them and says, okay, your job is to attack B cells. Those cells get infused into the body, the CAR receptor on the T cells attached to the B cells, and then they signal those B cells to destroy themselves. The immune system is reset to a time before it was attacking your own body.
Dr. Koenig says current treatments suppress the autoimmune diseases, but they don't fix what's causing them. He says that means patients face a lifetime of pricey pills, shots, or infusions with some serious side effects. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Tonight on KSL, you found it, the perfect holiday present right there online.
I purchased a meditation device.
So you pay and wait for it to be delivered. But what if it never comes? And getting your money back?
I don't have any confidence they're gonna do right by the refund.
I'll reveal what you need to know to avoid having a Grinch ruin your gift giving. Santa-approved online shopping safeguards. Tonight at 10.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Over the past few weeks, we've told you about school districts in Utah voting to close or keep open several schools, many of the discussions centering around declining enrollment. Now we are learning that it's not just a few districts across the state. School districts are seeing student enrollment drop. Utah's population changes. KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer has more.
That's going to have an impact on our schools, and that is totally outside of our ability to control.
Orchard Elementary closed last year due to declining enrollment. These were happier times at a school assembly. Happy or not, it's a sign of the times. Granite District has closed 10 schools in recent years. Just last month, the district paused plans to close 2 more. And leaders project enrollment will drop an additional 10% in the next 2 years.
This is an ongoing problem, and we need to be creative in the solutions.
Granite is not alone. Washington and Salt Lake are also seeing rapid enrollment decline. In fact, every school district has seen a decline except 2, Beaver and Tooele.
In Utah, we haven't experienced this. We seem to be exiting from the constant growth or the constant struggle to deal with the pressures of growth to the, okay, now this is plateaued, or, there's this decline that we're seeing here. This is definitely a new change that we're experiencing, where in some places we're seeing huge drops in numbers.
To fully appreciate the problem, let's look back just 10 years to when schools were dealing with the opposite challenge. Harriman High enrollment topped 3,000, and leaders projected with 600 new developments, they would quickly exceed 4,700 students, the size of BYU Hawaii. They would need 85 portables. Stacked together, they would be taller than the Empire State Building.
That's a lot of portables to put in the backyard and cover up the fields.
I have a younger sister who's in middle school right now, and I think about how things are going to be when she gets to high school.
This state graph shows the picture. Enrollment plummeted, influenced by the pandemic, and it hasn't rebounded to anywhere near what was expected. 10 years ago, would you have ever guessed we were going to be having the opposite problem?
The answer is no. Would I have guessed 10 years ago? No, because again, the one of the leading indicators we look at is the birth rate. 10 years ago, the birth rate was fairly high.
In fact, Utah had among the highest birth rates. Now we're 10th in the nation.
We just do not have as many as the large families as we traditionally have seen in the past. And so instead of having, for example, teachers who would say, hey, they know, for example, they would know me, they would know my older brother, they would know my younger sister, my younger brother, my younger sister, they know my family because the whole family went through their system. Now it's only one or two students within the family that we're seeing that they get to know. So that's changing. And economically, what we're seeing is it's really hard for these young married couples to have large families. They are struggling. We're not saying that is the primary and only driver of why the birth rate is declining.
Utah's booming housing costs also play a role. For all the new apartments and condos being built, it's not often families with school kids who are moving in.
And so when you look at the housing costs, where can people afford to live? Are they going to have that, we'll say, the prime real estate in downtown Salt Lake with a huge family? That's cost prohibitive. And so people are moving out.
Districts have lost millions of dollars in state revenue when their cost to operate schools remain the same. They have to make tough choices.
Those are very difficult decisions. There's a lot of memories packed into the bricks of every one of those schools. A lot of our communities and our families are very attached to their neighborhood, walkable school community, and that's something we want to be able to provide, but the revenues do not allow us to continue to maintain the same number of schools that we have had in the past when we had 80,000 kids.
State leaders acknowledge, given the trends, more communities will face this struggle.
I am sure it's alarming for teachers who could be losing their job because of it. That's definitely alarming. Is it alarming for the families that live within the community? Absolutely. Where it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't have full control over what's going on within my particular school, maybe that I have a very close emotional tie to.
It's not the district's responsibility to ensure that our families are promulgating a population rate to sustain our schools. We're here to sustain our families.
Our thanks to KSL TV's Deanie Wimmer for that story. The issue of potential school closures and boundary changes sure to remain a controversial topic over the next several years as the state's population shifts older. We'll be sure to track it all here at KSL. After the break, we have tips to make sure that your holiday seasons is safe and your Christmas tree doesn't go up in smoke. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
And it is emergency traffic again. And again, it's on northbound I-15. This time it's due to an accident approaching 2100 South. You have 4 center and right lanes of travel blocked. It's under one of the flyover passes at the I-80-201 junction. And they did have to stop traffic temporarily for a few minutes in order to clear some of the larger pieces of debris from the roadway. And right now we have stop-and-go delays back to about 3900 South. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic, the exhibition. Open now at the shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. As you deck the halls this holiday season, the Red Cross and the Salt Lake City Fire Department are reminding you to stay safe and fire less. Jeremiah LaFranca is the executive director for the Greater Salt Lake chapter of the American Red Cross, and he says there are a few things that you need to be extra alert for.
One, of course, is holiday cooking. People just not paying attention while they're cooking. They have a lot of people over. We see people just kind of stepping away while they're cooking because they're doing a bunch of different things over the holidays, and that fire starts, right? And so people automatically react and think, throw water on a grease fire, or things like that nature. We want to make sure that they know to smother that with a lid. Think about that. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher accessible in your kitchen. So if something does happen, you're ready to go. The other aspect is Christmas trees. So, we have our Christmas tree here. People just don't take care of it well enough. They might not put water in it every day, might not be checking that, so it dries out. And then what happens is if they have it too close to a space heater, or if there's an electrical short, or maybe it's close to a fireplace, that goes up real quick. As you'll see in just a moment as we do our demonstration, you'll see how quickly that can happen. And when you think about that in an enclosed room with furniture that's made of synthetic materials, that burns really quick. And that's what causes a lot of the home fires to happen so fast for people. That's why they only have about 2 minutes to get out safely.
LaFranca says if you have a fresh Christmas tree, make sure you are cutting 2 inches at the bottom of the trunk so that it can better soak up enough water. He also says that if your tree dries out, toss it out. Dried trees are notorious for going up in flames in just a matter of seconds. A live, immersive nativity complete with donkeys, sheep, and a baby in a manger, bringing to life a slice of Bethlehem this week in Lehigh. The event not only celebrating Christmas, but also raising funds for humanitarian aid. Rome humanitarian organizer Elisa Clausen tells KSL-TV more than 200 volunteers have come together to put on the 5-day event.
So it's like a walk through Bethlehem. We have a live potter. We have a bakery, we have craft stations, we have live animals. We've got a cute little llama over here. We have donkeys, sheep, bunnies. So we wanted it to be really hands-on, where families could come and sit down and hang out and enjoy themselves with the animals and just with each other while celebrating Christ's birth.
Clausen says their fundraising goal to build 10 homes in 2026 in their partner countries and the live nativity allows others to give back.
I hope they feel like they've experienced something different than, just buying presents for each other or checking all the boxes of the things that you have to do for Christmas, and that they can feel the love and the spirit of Christ's birth. And I think those that have volunteered this week, we've already had probably about 200 volunteers come through this week, and I hope that it makes a difference in their lives too, like spending their time doing something that serving other people.
On Saturday, Rome partnered with United Angels Foundation, a group focused on supporting families of individuals with special needs.
A lot of the characters in the nativity will have a disability of some sort, which is really special for our community to be represented. And to be part of something about Christ's birth. It's just really beautiful that our kids get that opportunity like everybody else.
United Angels board member Oakley Peterson says that there is just something extra special about celebrating Christ's birth while celebrating children who have unique differences.
This is what the holidays are about, and there's just something extra tender about celebrating Christ's birth and celebrating our children who have these unique differences, because we look at our son Wells here and see him as being so close to our Savior. So it's a very tender night, and I'm just emotional even preparing for it as we're about to go walk into the Nativity as a family and to see just some of, I think, God's most beautiful children participating in something like this. It's just really special.
The event continues this week in Wasatch County at the County Events Complex in Heber City. And thank you for joining us for Midday. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's like something out of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's indeed very real. A skull stolen from an ancient burial site in southern Utah. Authorities finding that the skull was taken thanks to social media.
A local concerned citizen noticed a Facebook post, actually, of an individual posing with some human remains.
The time is 2 o'clock on December 8th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, a $3,000 reward now out as officials hope to find the remains and bring it to its resting place. Also this hour,
Mammoth star player Logan Cooley possibly out for the rest of the season due to an injury.
what could this mean for the team as they push on for the rest of the season? We'll get the breakdown from our very own Mammoth Insider. But first, our top stories. A couple dozen people are protesting outside the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services field office in downtown Salt Lake. Liz Marion with the Salt Lake Community Bail Fund says they learned that ICE agents are waiting inside to apprehend people as they arrive for their hearings.
The Bail Fund is providing some court support in terms of just checking people in and checking people out so that people can leave us their emergency contact information so that if they are detained, we can contact their family members and we can connect them with lawyers who are working pro bono.
KSL News Radio has reached out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for reaction, but has not heard back. Our top national story from ABC News. The Golden Globe nominations are now out with one battle after another, picking up 9 nominations. ABC's Mike Dubusky says it's not all about the movies this year.
Some new categories are being added to the fray this year at the Golden Globes, with awards set to be handed out for Best Stand-Up Comedy Special. Bill Maher, Sarah Silverman, and Kevin Hart are among those nominated. The Best Podcast Award is also new, with Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert and Amy Poehler's Good Hang getting nods there. Another new category honors cinematic and box office achievement. Among those nominees, F1, Zootopia 2, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Your money at this moment. Markets improving just a bit before the close. The Dow ending down 215 points to end at 47,739. S&P down by 24 points, and the NASDAQ, it was down by 32 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards, and here's Ricky Meese.
Emergency traffic continues on northbound I-15 right in the heart of the valley where we have a multiple vehicle crash with debris near 2100 South. It's under one of the flyover ramps of the I-80-201 junction. Multiple right lanes of travel are blocked, and we have stop-and-go delays almost back to 4500 South. This is going to take you quite a while to get through. Even the ramps coming from I-80 or the 201 to northbound I-15 starting to get backed up now. And if you want to take an alternate route, you'll certainly save yourself a lot of time. But right now, State Street might be the better option, or I-215's West Belt. Looking for the ultimate holiday gift? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off. Visit minkycouture.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
What is it about northbound I-15 in that area today? That's the second time, Ricky. A huge problem.
And we had it in Utah County, too, so it's been a rough day on that freeway going northbound, Maria.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Today's high over 50 degrees. We're going to get up to 56 degrees by Wednesday. It's going to be, there are a slight chance of showers for the beginning of the week, but not much in the forecast that way. Right now, 54 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A human skull supposedly stolen from a protected ancient burial site in southern Utah. The Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration is now asking for your help to find the skull, offering a $3,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the people responsible. Joel Boomgarden is the lead archaeologist for the trust, and he tells KSL's Carter Williams how the missing skull came on their radar.
I believe a local concerned citizen noticed a Facebook post actually of an individual posing with some human remains. That got passed around to the agencies. We figured out whose property it was on. Turned out to be Trustland's property. And then we pursued after that, trying to figure out what had happened, were the remains still there, this type of thing.
The skull went missing in the Kanab area. Officials at the trust aren't releasing specific location details at this time, hoping to keep the site private and secure. From a simple Facebook post to actually finding the physical site where the skull once resided, Boomgarden says it was quite a process to find the exact site.
We worked with some local folks, and we figured out, based on just the background information, you could sort of, in the Facebook page, you could see kind of the background, and some folks familiar with the area go, oh, hey, I recognize that site. Let's go in and double check. We went in and kind of compared that Facebook photo to the actual site. It's like, this is definitely it. And then from there, we started our investigation to see what had gone missing, and the human crania had gone missing.
What is it about this particular place that makes it so special and sacred?
Utah's got a human occupation of some 13,000 years. In the Kanab area, there's a prevalence of what we call basket maker era archaeology. This site dates from that era. We've got a radiocarbon date on a maize cob from the site that dates at 80-40. And that this period of time is particularly seems to be pretty important in southern Utah in that Kanab area. It's kind of a transition time. So it's an important site. I mean, all these sites are important. I mean, anytime you have human remains, it's a sensitive site.
Anyone with information is urged to contact the Utah Attorney General's office. The tips can remain anonymous, too. A Payson man sits in jail accused of threatening the lives of several prominent elected state leaders. Police say Douglas Wilford Pace made a phone call to Capitol Hill last week where he allegedly said that he would shoot Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Senate President Stuart Adams. Former FBI agent Greg Rogers says, joke or not, law enforcement has to take all of these threats against public officials seriously. When law enforcement receives word of a threat, they spring into action.
You have to get right on top of that. And what law enforcement does, of course, is immediately gets an arrest warrant. But even while that process is taking place, officers are rolling to that individual's residence and securing him and making sure he doesn't go anywhere. And that happens immediately.
Rogers says that these kinds of threats are pretty rare.
But especially in a this obvious and upfront of a way, when you're using your own communication devices and social media accounts and being real upfront and blatant about it, that's highly unusual.
With all the different forms of communication nowadays, does that mean that law enforcement investigates things differently depending on the way the threats were shared? Like, does it vary depending on whether it was via phone or through social media?
If the individual that made the threat's identified and it's actually a death threat, they're investigated very much the same way and actions taken really quickly. The issue where it slows things down a little bit is, you can say very vitriolic things about anybody, and to include politicians, on social media, and sometimes it may approach a threat, but it might not, actually get there. That's a different type of case.
So an implied threat might not be enough to constitute a real and present danger. Rogers tells Utah's Morning News that this is an important distinction to make sure that the right to free speech isn't infringed.
The statutes require that it be an actual threat. So you can, again, be very vitriolic and talk about how much you dislike someone, how much you think they're not very intelligent, how you could even say something as close as, if they were to get hit by a bus, it wouldn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not you making a direct threat. So it's those types of cases, law enforcement's going to get into their social media accounts. They're going to start looking to see if they've made direct threats. They're going to be talking to friends and associates. That's a different case. But when a direct threat is made, it's acted on immediately.
Rogers says there's not an element of intent in these threat cases. This is why making a joke that you'll harm a public official is often enough to warrant an investigation. Arrest documents say that Pace has a history of making calls like this, but that he also has a traumatic brain injury. Rogers says a person's mental state will play into the investigation, especially when the threats are so overt and direct. But he doesn't think that a traumatic brain injury is a blanket defense for a person to make these kinds of threats. Police are asking that Pace now be held without bail until he can see a judge. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy. But man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsutah.com.
Some big news today for fans of the Utah Mammoth. Star player Logan Cooley will be out indefinitely due to an injury. The timeline for when or if Cooley will make it back to the ice this season is up in the air. Let's get more now with KSL Sports Mammoth insider Cole Bagley. Cole, thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, no problem.
So what in the world happened here?
Yeah, so this was a pretty brutal injury that Cooley sustained the other night. It was actually on Friday night, the first half of their back-to-back against the Vancouver Canucks. Cooley was making his way towards the net. A defenseman held him up, and then Cooley awkwardly kind of crashed into the post, and his leg just kind of wrapped around the post there. He actually got up pretty quickly, and he played another shift, but then they held him out for the rest of the game. He did not play on the second of the back-to-back in Calgary. And then this morning we learned that he'll be out indefinitely with a lower body injury, which will definitely, that's how they are in hockey. They don't give specifics, but, if you can read between the lines and watch that video, it's definitely his leg that is injured. So unfortunate for Utah, but we'll see how they can, respond.
So what do you read into the word indefinitely?
Yeah, that's always a tricky one in sports. For the most part, what I kind of read into that is, for starters, it's a positive that they didn't say season ending, right? If they said season ending, then they knew right away, hey, this guy is done for the rest of the year and nothing can be done. And definitely more so means, he's injured, we have to keep him out, but we don't quite know the timeline. It's tough to say what it could be. Of my own speculation, I would probably lean more towards a ligament that they maybe just need to have some further testing on. If it was a bone or something like that, an x-ray would show up pretty quickly, but, ligaments can be a little bit more difficult. Again, that's my own speculation. Hopefully, here in the next week or so, we'll have some more information, but it's a tough one for the Mammoth. They haven't been playing particularly well over the last month. And to lose a young guy like Cooley, who had 14 goals and 9 assists through 29 games this year, it's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, he's a key player.
Yeah, for sure. He just signed an 8-year contract extension worth about $80 million. So this is a guy that they've gone all in on, and it's tough to see him go down.
Anyone who can step up and fill those shoes.
Yeah, moving forward, they'll definitely have Daniil Boot playing on that second line alongside Dylan Gunther and Baird Hayton. Daniil Boot is a 20-year-old from Russia who came over during the offseason after winning a championship in the Continental Hockey League. He was just called up from Tucson, Utah's AHL affiliate. He's played in 3 games so far, and he looked good, and they'll definitely, no doubt, want to see more production from him. It's a huge opportunity, and that's what head coach Andre Tourny told us today was, look, it's unfortunate that Cooley's gone down, but every team's going through adversity, and it's an opportunity for someone else to step up. And he did, specifically mention Daniil Boot, and he said that we need to have a next man up mentality. So, while it's tough to see him go down, obviously, it generates an opportunity for one of these young guys, other young players to step up.
Cole, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me. That is KSL Sports Mammoth Insider, Cole Bagley. As the war rages on between Ukraine and Russia, there are new discussions over the technology being used in the fighting. We'll get details after the break, but first it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
And it is emergency traffic that continues on northbound I-15. Now, the good news is they've opened up more lanes of travel where we have this crash with debris near 2100 South. A right lane is still blocked, and that means we still have stop and go and slow and go delays back to 4500 South in Murray. Find a nativity perfect for your home or to gift to loved ones. Every style, every size, every budget. Celebrate the true meaning of Christmas with nativities at Deseret Book and DeseretBook.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, a new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year. or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Even as American officials engage in some shuttle diplomacy going back and forth between Ukrainian and Russian delegations to try and find a peace plan, people in Ukraine say they aren't optimistic about an end to the war anytime soon. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Ukraine with more on the recent attacks.
While world leaders talk peace, Ukrainians are dying. Killed in Russian attacks that come from the skies. Thousands of drones and missiles have been fired into civilian cities, and every night they come again. And again.
Hello?
What began as a land assault with artillery rockets and tanks almost 4 years ago has now become a deadly high-tech battle fought with missiles, drones and land robots.
Vladimir.
We met Volodymyr at what's left of his home in Kharkiv. His house was struck by a Russian drone last week. The roof collapsed, killing his wife Irina, leaving Volodymyr and his 2 children homeless and heartbroken. The chair where she'd been sitting marks the spot where she died. Irina had been receiving cancer treatment. She'd been responding well when she was killed. Volodymyr shows us shrapnel marks on the house from a second drone. It killed a neighbour. Like most Ukrainians in the east, Volodymyr is a native Russian speaker. One of Putin's justifications for this war is to supposedly liberate native ethnic Russians like him from persecution. Despite his loss, Volodymyr is uncompromising, saying if Ukraine hands over territory, Russia will simply be encouraged to take more. President Trump came to office promising to end the war in 24 hours. To date, all attempts to get a peace agreement have failed.
We're getting very close to a deal. We'll find out. I thought that one would have been gone quicker.
Now his team pushing for a settlement with shuttle diplomacy from Miami to Moscow. But the latest Kremlin meeting this week failed to reach a compromise deal on Ukraine. Few here expected a breakthrough. The question for Ukraine, can it hold on without a deal?
Panel says technology is both helping and hurting the war efforts on both sides, amplifying tensions between the two countries.
We drove through the fog and mud in eastern Ukraine to get a glimpse of a battle that's changed the face of modern warfare. This dugout is home to a small unit of drone interceptors, living here for weeks at a time, keeping watch.
He's got a screen here with a radar, what looks like a radar. It's protected by the military, so we can't show you the screen, but you can clearly see Russian drones up in the sky, about 50 kilometers, so say just over 30 miles away, and you can see the trajectory, you can see where they're heading, and see what kind of threat it represents to Ukraine's military and Ukrainian civilians.
This is what they launch to bring down the drones. They're cheap and Ukrainian-made. They fly constant interceptions, but Russia's launching sometimes 600 drones a night.
When there are 600 drones, how can you stop them?
We do our best.
You do your best.
Russia is slowly advancing on the battlefield, albeit at huge cost. And the proliferation of attack drones has made it almost suicidal for Ukraine to send men and trucks to assist units on the front line. Partia Brigade in Kharkiv is revolutionising how this war is fought. A new army of unmanned land robots ferrying ammunition and supplies through the kill zone. This secret workshop feels like a cross between a guerrilla base and a high-tech startup. Even the troops here are a mix of scientists, engineers, mathematicians and IT experts.
What you're witnessing is a revolution in warfare. This is actually a ground drone. It's an unmanned ground vehicle. This is another one. And both of these vehicles are going to be deployed tonight to take important logistics, food, ammunition, water supplies to soldiers on the front line.
We do 1 or 2 trips.
Later, from another secret location, we watch an operation to deliver supplies to the front near Kharkiv. Ukrainian soldiers hurriedly offload the drone. And the pilot, around 15 miles away, steers the robot through the last deadly few miles.
How important is this technology now in the battle?
Well, I think it's super important, especially for a country that has less of everything, manpower, resources.
Panel says there is growing concern amongst the Ukrainian people that even though the U.S. has been there to help them since the start of the war, that support could soon run dry. For the first time in decades, Salt Lake City has a new park. Grand opening celebrations were held over the weekend for the Glendale Regional Park on Salt Lake City's west side. It's located on the site of the former Seven Peaks Water Park on 17th South. Senior landscape architect John Ruedas says it's the first time in decades the city has had a new park. He says it's a big improvement for the west side community, which he says has often been overlooked by the city. Among the first things unveiled were 4 pickleball courts, but besides those courts, Phase 1 contains a lot of other amenities.
There's a large destination all-abilities playground, a full-court basketball court, walking trails, pavilions, shade structures, open space, grass areas, a lot of native plantings. We're doing a restorative wetland area for our detention basin. And so just, new parking lots. Several plantings. So those are most of the amenities in Phase 1.
But Raidis says the City Hall also has big plans for Phase 2.
We're looking at a skate park, pump track for bikes and all wheels, skating ribbon. We're also looking at a kind of an interactive water feature / splash pad, an event lawn for community events, public restrooms, improvements along the Jordan River. We're looking at doing some restorative plantings along the Jordan River, as well as providing boardwalks, a new boat launch for those that want to be able to canoe or kayak in the Jordan River.
John Raidis is a senior landscape architect for Salt Lake City. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. Some of the things we're watching this hour. Reports of ICE detaining immigrants attending their immigration hearings in Salt Lake, prompting protests today. Eye on the Hill, we have a preview of tomorrow's special legislative session on redistricting and collective bargaining. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Delays remain northbound I-15 due to the crash at 2100 South. Maria?
And it's going to be an incredible weekend for temperatures, or week, I should say, for temperatures. We're going to be in the 50s for the next 7 days. Very slight chance of showers. Right now, 54 degrees downtown. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court weighing arguments in a case that could give the president more power to fire heads of independent agencies.
The case has the administration asking the court to overturn a 90-year-old ruling that a president can't fire a member of the Federal Trade Commission without cause. That 1935 case was called Humphrey's Executor, and Chief Justice John Roberts says it's been weakened by more recent decisions.
Humphrey's Executor is just a dried husk of whatever people used to think it was.
The court's conservative majority seemed inclined to give Trump a win, but the liberals warned of the consequences. Justice Elena Kagan.
The president is going to have massive, unchecked, uncontrolled power.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Tsunami warnings have been downgraded following a powerful earthquake in northern Japan. Officials say at least 13 sustained injuries. A surge of flu cases causing alarm in London after the same wave hit Asia. The new strain developed after the dominant flu shot was released for this season. Cases also on the rise in the U.S. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Utah's legislature will have a special session tomorrow addressing the state's policies on both redistricting and collective bargaining. We have team coverage on this, starting with KSL News Radio's Adam Small, who spoke with the unions who are happy that the legislature is voting to repeal the bill that outlaws collective bargaining for state public employees.
This bill would have made it so public school teachers, many police officers, firefighters, and other city, county, and state employees couldn't work with unions for better pay and working conditions. Britt Miller with the union Local 222 says he considers the legislature's plan to repeal this a victory.
The referendum gives us the repeal by voters, and if the state legislature would like to just cash it in on this tomorrow, that would be awesome. I think it accomplishes the same goal.
And he says a repeal would also have big financial upside.
You're looking at $8 to $12 million on either side. You're looking at community engagement. You're looking at a lot more organizing.
Miller and other union representatives say they expect this issue to come up again in the future, but they're hopeful they will be involved in good faith negotiations. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Men are finding brotherhood and connection at the Orem Costco. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Jackson Smith is the founder of the Men's Mental Health Costco Club.
Mothers reach out to me and wives saying their sons and their husbands need friends and that they've been looking for something like this and that this is very much needed.
The club meets at the Orem Costco food court every Wednesday night at 7. It's only been going for a few weeks, but his social media videos about the club have tens of thousands of views and more men show up every week. Smith says it's a way to make friends just like they did at grade school lunch tables.
They asked like to hang out after school and hang out at recess, and so it's really simple if you go back to the roots of it.
Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ended the day down by 215 points, just below 0.5%, sitting at 47,739. S&P down by 24 points, the Nasdaq down by 32 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. How's it going out there, Ricky?
We're seeing improvement, but we're not clear of the delay yet. And northbound I-15, the remainder of this accident approaching 2100 South, still blocking a right lane, and that means we still have delays into Murray at 4500 South. But we're starting to see traffic move, so you have heavy and slow and some slow and go mix of speeds from Murray up to almost 1300 South. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Slight chance of showers for the first half of the week, but nice temperatures in the 50s, up to 56 degrees by Wednesday, 54 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking? It's uncomfortable and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film in your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Connecticut removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. This hour, protests wrapping up at the Salt Lake City Field Office for Citizenship and Immigration Services. The protests beginning this morning after locals heard reports that ICE agents were preparing to conduct raids at the office.
Down, down, down with ICE!
KSL TV photographer Tanner Seaworth captured some of the scene earlier today. Now, event organizers say the rally was quickly thrown together in order to show support for immigrants who had appointments at the office today.
We want to send a message that people in Utah support immigrants, that we do not support the ICE abductions in our communities, that we want ICE out of Utah. We don't want a new ICE detention center in Utah. We want to cancel the 287G agreements that are allowing for police to act as ICE officers and are increasing this racial profiling and deportations in Utah, and really just that we're here to support immigrants and say no to ICE.
Liz Marion is with the Salt Lake Community Bail Fund. She says the rally is part of a bigger initiative to support immigrants in Utah.
We're actually launching a court support program on Saturday as our first volunteer training, but when we found out that ICE was planning on increasing their detainment starting at this building on Monday today, our court support program wasn't fully ready yet, so we said let's get a rally, let's get people out here so that we can spread awareness that this is happening and we can kind of help promote court support so that people can be out here on a regular basis and on an organized basis to really build towards campaigns to stop the detention center in Utah, support immigrants coming to their hearings, and tell ICE that we want them out of Utah.
Alec Marshall is an organizer with PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. He says it's important to stand with immigrants.
We're here to defend immigrant communities and to let people know that ICE has no place in Salt Lake and in Utah. And specifically, I'm here because last week my friend was in his final interview for his green card with his lawyer. He's been here legally. He's been going through the process of becoming a U.S. citizen legally. He's married, he has a kid, and he was separated from his family during his final green card interview, which is just really, really horrific. But beyond that, we're here to let people know that immigrants aren't alone and that there's a community that stands with them.
We have reached out to ICE for comment on the supposed operations today, but we have not received a response. The state legislature officially called into a special session tomorrow. Two major topics will be on the agenda: redistricting and the repeal of House Bill 267, the bill that prohibited public labor unions from being able to do collective bargaining with public employers. Eye on the Hill, we have special coverage on Midday. We begin with the repeal of HB 267. The original bill's sponsor, Representative Jordan Tusher, now supports the repeal.
As we debated the bill during the last session and tried to come up with the right policy that would give more public workers a voice throughout their negotiating process, and a couple other important points around providing professional liability insurance to teachers or ending the practice of using public monies to pay for union activities. Afterwards, there was a lot of misinformation, confusion about the bill. I think a lot of that went into the signature gathering effort. Really, in meeting with people across the state, we decided it would be better to take a reset, come back to the table, try to help everyone understand the issues that we're trying to solve, and make sure that we have the best approach moving forward. And that's what you'll see with the repeal.
Representative Tusher tells Inside Sources that he hopes to give all workers a voice and that the repeal would remove the issue from ballots to allow the legislature to make adjustments. HB 267 sparked outrage among public employees when it passed in the last legislative session. A referendum was heading for the 2026 ballot after organizers collected more than 300,000 signatures to put it before voters. Jessica Stauffer is the president of the local chapter of the Communication Workers of America and is part of a Protect Utah Workers coalition.
I honestly think that the legislators started listening to us. We had over 5,000 volunteers, and we gathered over 320,000 signatures, and that's a huge part of our population and workforce in the state. I think that the legislator has a lot on their plate right now, and one of the parts to this repeal is to try and build a working relationship moving forward and listening to the Utah voices and listening to voters. And so this is really the beginning of this, not the end. And so I'm really hopeful that we can maintain a working relationship and come up with something that works for most Utahns.
Stauffer tells Inside Sources that she's glad the legislature is making the decision themselves to repeal the law. Now to the fight over redistricting. State leaders maintain that Judge Diana Gibson's ruling last month, where she threw out the legislature's congressional maps and chose one submitted by the plaintiffs in the case, the League of Women Voters, was unconstitutional. They say the ruling introduced uncertainty into the election processes. Also on the docket, a clarification that only the Utah Supreme Court has jurisdiction over election and redistricting cases. As a reminder, Judge Gibson is a district court judge, which is beneath the state Supreme Court. The legislature will also reaffirm that they have sole constitutional responsibility over redistricting. At a news conference last month announcing the special session, Senate President Stuart Adams shared his concerns that an unelected judge was able to overrule the legislature's maps.
It's deeply concerning that an unelected judge overrode the Utah Constitution, specifically Article 9, and silenced Utahns by imposing a map without public input. The judge chose a map that didn't even follow Proposition 4. Proposition 4 required a public process. That did not happen. The people of Utah were denied a chance to review the map, provide feedback, or be heard. This is not about partisanship. It's about protecting the integrity of decisions that shape our representation.
During his monthly press conference, Governor Spencer Cox said that he had a big concern with deadlines for the midterm election in November 2026. Before his election to governor, you'll recall that Governor Cox was the lieutenant governor and oversaw the elections in the state.
Because of the deadlines, we just don't have a lot of room to move on this and to be able to file an appeal to move that process forward. So we're looking at those deadlines and what it means. Really, it's more just you kind of have to back up. So you have an election in November, right? We know that's set. There are deadlines you have to make to reach that, and so you just keep working backwards. And so what's the latest possible date that you could get a ruling from the Supreme Court and still be able to implement maps? If there's a change in maps, if the Supreme Court was to go back to Map C, then you would need 50 days to get that implemented, right? So there's a whole bunch of variables there, and that's what the attorneys are looking at now. That's why we don't have any additional information on what that might look like.
As part of tomorrow's special session, lawmakers will discuss changing filing deadlines to give potential candidates time as the state works on an appeal to the state Supreme Court. Throughout this whole process, Better Boundaries, who was involved in getting an independent redistricting commission established through Prop 4, has maintained that the legislature is in the wrong. Here's Executive Director Elizabeth Rasmussen speaking to Inside Sources shortly after the announcement of a special session.
I wish there was a little more accountability on the part of the legislature. This has been a fight that's going on for nearly 8 years now, and it's been fought every step of the way. And what has happened with this court-selected map is not unprecedented. Actually, the Utah Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court have all ruled on this question before, and this has happened in other states as well, where a court has to step in to put in a compliant map. It's happened in Alabama, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, and Texas. And so it's disappointing there's not more accountability and that we've had to go through this process for so long.
Make sure you stick with KSL News Radio tomorrow and Wednesday as we continue tracking the developments in the special session. Eye on the Hill updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com and on our social media accounts. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Ulta Beauty's big holiday beauty sale is back with up to 50% off must-have gifts. Shop irresistible deals like the Shark Beauty Flex Style and Benefit Cosmetics travel size mascaras. With new offers weekly, same-day pickup or delivery, and our trusted associates, we make holiday shopping effortless. Head into Ulta Beauty today. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
"250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind. knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at usps.com/holidays.
Salt Lake City School District wants to tackle the issue of chronic absenteeism before it begins to hurt a student's academics. The district saying that marking which students are absent and doing a robocall home is no longer enough. Public Information Officer Jason Olson says the school board is reviewing platforms to create two-way communication with parents when their student is chronically absent.
Well, chronic absenteeism has been adopted by our district and our Board of Education as one of our main priorities and one of the board's goals. Our goal is we want to reduce chronic absenteeism in our district from where it is now, which is about 27-28%, down to 10% by 2029. And so looking for this new tool, seeing if technology can somehow help us communicate better with families, offer them resources if there's, if it's travel, if there's something else keeping them from getting their students to school. We want to see whatever we can do and help meet that goal to reduce that absenteeism.
Olson tells KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa that the problem has worsened since the COVID pandemic.
What we've been seeing is since COVID, the number of students who are chronically absent has been increasing. When I say chronically absent, what that means is they've missed 10% of school or more. That sounds like a big number, but when you think about a 9-month school year, which is 180 days, which is what we have in Utah, that means 2 days a month. If you miss more than 2 days a month, you're on the chronic absenteeism list. So when I heard that number saying I'm missing only 2 days a month to make you chronically absent, that was something I hadn't counted on. And I looked back, to what happened with my own daughter, and it's amazing how fast or how easy that comes about.
He says besides a new communications platform, the district is also offering a variety of resources to help families.
We have family resources that we can refer families to, and they may be community resources, they may be food pantries, they may be, help with transportation through UTA bus passes. There's just a myriad of services out there that if someone is falling on hard times, they're having a hard time getting their student to school, we at least want to sit down and talk with them and say, okay, how can we help? Is there anything we can do? Because the number one thing we know is that students who attend regularly and attend almost every single day do better in their studies and in their classroom. And so we want the students here with us.
Olson says their ideal platform would have language accommodation, allow parents to text back and forth with the school, and use AI to offer resources. A quick reminder as you celebrate the Christmas season, don't forget about KSL's Quarters for Christmas program, where we turn your donations into warm coats and shoes for children in our community. Now, it's easy to make a difference. You just go online to kslquarters.com, donate what you can, and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter. I hope you'll join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas. Utah's restaurant scene is getting a big boost. I'll tell you more after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
All right, lanes still blocked with this accident. Northbound I-15 near 2100 South, and we are still seeing delays just past 33rd South. From now through December, earn triple points with a rewards visa from Cyprus Credit Union. Shop for everything on your wish list and earn points to redeem awesome rewards. Start your application today at cypruscu.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Welcome to Cricket Wireless. Santa?
I've got to get Mrs. Claus a gift or I'm in a whole lot of trouble.
How about a single unlimited line? Only $35, plus a free Moto G 5G.
Dude, you're a lifesaver. Here, take a present.
Says it's for Timmy in Des Moines.
Never heard of him.
Join Cricket Nation and get a single line for $35 per month, plus a free Moto G 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Requires activation of new line on select unlimited plan or higher. Pay $40 first month. New lines only. First month service charge. Tax to its sale fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Salt Lake's culinary community will soon be getting some attention on a global stage. Super secret inspectors will soon be visiting various restaurants to determine if they should receive a Michelin star. Visit Salt Lake President and CEO Caitlin Eskelson joined me to describe the expansion of the Michelin Guide.
As of this morning, Michelin has announced that they're going to do their second regional guide in North America. This comes after they had done one in the American South. It was really successful, and now they're going to move over to us. And so this covers Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and then what we're calling the Wasatch Culinary Collective, which includes Visit Salt Lake, Visit Park City, and Sundance Resort.
So describe what this means for Salt Lake City. I mean, could we soon have a Michelin star restaurant?
We could soon have a Michelin star restaurant, yes. We haven't had one. We've had several James Beard nominees, but this is really going to put us on the map.
So what do they look for? I mean, what type of criteria do they look for?
Yeah, so they have a very universal criteria, and basically those are 5 things. So the quality of ingredients, the mastery of technique, the harmony and the balance of the flavors, personality of the chef through the cuisine, and then consistency.
So what does this look like? I mean, do these secret investigators come out and go to different, what does it look like?
Exactly. That is exactly how it looks. So essentially they launch, or they announce that they're coming. And then from there, I think from a press standpoint, it will kind of go radio silence for the next 6 or so months. And it is just that. It's an inspector. They're anonymous. They're trained. The restaurants are visited multiple times by different inspectors, and then we can't influence the selections. So it's very organic. So essentially us serving up the opportunity and the restaurants taking it from there.
Yeah, so I was going to say, is there any heads up as to which restaurants will be looked at?
No, this is the heads up for the community. And after that, I really think we're not going to know until we do in about 6 months.
So are there some restaurants that are at the top of the list for them to check out?
They'll go in and do their own research. I'm sure they've been following a lot of the press, the restaurant openings. They have an internal team making recommendations that we're not privy to. We, have some that we think, are probably one of them that keeps on getting brought up is Takashi. It's kind of a staple. It's excellent sushi. It's renowned across the nation. So there are some that we think are probably shoo-ins for a visit, but we don't know.
So what do you think this means for our culinary community as a whole? What does this say about us?
Yeah, I think that it's really bigger than in any individual restaurant getting a star. It's more of the uplift of our restaurant community and bringing Salt Lake on the map. I think for a long time we've kind of punched above our weight class and not really been given the credit that we deserve here. And so I'm excited for the restaurant owners to be recognized. This is kind of their Olympics, this is what a lot of them have always maybe wanted an opportunity at. And so I think there's that. But then we also know that once Michelin does recognize restaurants in a community, that those restaurants will see about anywhere between 15 and 25% pickup in revenue in the first year. So we're hoping that it is an economic driver.
We all know how much we love good food. There's no doubt about that. But do visitors really look at that when they are planning to come to, say, someplace like Salt Lake?
So what is crazy is that what our research shows is that 74% of frequent travelers consider the availability of a Michelin-rated restaurant. So that's crazy that it's such a driver. But when you look at dining, it's the number one essentially tourist attraction. Everyone eats, and maybe they'll do one Michelin restaurant and then round it out with several other really good local, eateries. All right.
Caitlin, is there anything else you'd like to add?
One thing to note is that this is a 3-year process. And so if someone or a venue gets their first star this year, they're not eligible for their second until the second year. So it's kind of a build-up approach. And then there are also professional awards that are given more on an individual level. So like sommelier, service, mixology, young chef, et cetera. So there's a lot of individual recognition as well in this program, and I think that's super exciting.
Caitlin Eskelson is the president and CEO of Visit Salt Lake. Jeff Kaplan is back. How was Florida?
Florida was really nice. Weather was perfect. 3 days on the beach. Great.
Nice. What I really love about this Michelin star thing is that means all of the great restaurants are going to really up their game. So we're going to enjoy even better food.
I know, like Villaggio Pizza and Lucky Slice and all that. Are they going to visit pizza joints?
I don't think so.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. 54 in Salt Lake City, KSL's top story. Immigration advocates claim that ICE agents are lurking around the Salt Lake Immigration Office, and they're picking up people who are trying to stay here the legal way. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff is live. He's at the Immigration Field Office where a day-long protest is just now wrapping up. Don?
Jeff, protesters have been here at the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Field Office since the building opened at 7 o'clock this morning.
So what we've heard is that people are showing